the TLC Talk, a podcast by Ohio 4-H Teens. Hello, everyone. My name is Wyatt Morrow, and I am the Communications Committee Chair on the Ohio 4-H Teen Leadership Council. This episode is with Emily Scaff. She is the 2024 Ohio 4-H Teen of the Year. Emily, if you want to give an introduction about yourself.
Yes. Hi, my name is Emily Scaff. I was a 13-year 4-H'er from Scioto County. I served in a lot of different roles throughout like the county, state, and national level. And right now, I'm currently a freshman in college at Washington and Lee University studying journalism.
Perfect. So, what is some of your county experience that you've been able to partake in?
Yeah, so I was mostly involved in some things at the county until I was about 14. That's when I got into some state things. But I did a lot of different project areas. So the thing that was kind of my thing since I was, 8 years old, first starting out, was showing miniature horses. Did a lot of different things with that. And then I did a lot of different still projects. So I did cooking, I did creative arts, different leadership, natural resources. And then I also served on my county's junior fair board and on my county's teen leadership program, along with doing some other equine things. Like I served on my county's horse bowl team and like hippology and horse judging and things like that.
That's super exciting. That sounds like so much fun. So going into that, have you won any like clock trophies with those projects that you've taken?
So the clock trophies that I've won have both been in kind of the workforce development area. So last year, the clock trophy that I won was with You're Hired. And that was really exciting for me to win just because, I'm leaving my 4-H career. I was at that point. And interviewing is like the main skill you hit on in 4-H. Throughout all of your still project judging, throughout everything, the skill that you're literally learning is how to speak to people. And it's as simple as that. So being able to win the clock trophy for You're Hired kind of just felt to me like my skills are continuing to grow and progress, and I've gotten to a point where I can apply the skills that I've learned in 4-H.
Absolutely. And going into state fair a little bit more, you've also had the opportunity to serve on state junior fair board. So do you want to speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, serving on the state junior fair board was one of my most exciting moments in 4-H. It was one of the things that I'm proudest of getting to serve on. It was one of my proudest achievements throughout my 4-H career. I served as an at-large representative, so one of the organizations that I did represent was 4-H. And this previous year, I served on the officer team. I was the secretary of the board. And it was really exciting because state fair is an experience that, like, unlike any other that you're going to get in your 4-H career, because you're forced with like a bunch of other people. Some of you may know, some of you may not. For 2 weeks, you're living with them, you're working with them, and you're doing everything with them. And not only are you working with people on the board, but you're also working with the general public, fair goers, and different people throughout 4-H. So that's when you learn a lot of those interpersonal skills and public relation skills. And it just gives you a lot of really cool opportunities. So ushering concerts was like one of the big perks. You got to meet a lot of different people and just see a different crowd every night at the fair, which was a lot of fun. And you also get some really cool networking opportunities. So one of the things we did was get assigned to a member of the governor's cabinet. And I got to spend a couple hours of the day with the director of commerce for the state of Ohio, which was a really cool connection to make. And it's someone that, I can still connect with as I've started college and started more of those networking opportunities. So serving on the state junior fair board, it was a unique experience, and I highly encourage anyone to apply.
Absolutely. It's such an exciting opportunity to partake in. And I know both of us, we've definitely had a lot of fun with it.
Yes,
Going
yeah.
into more of your state experience, you also have served on TLC. What have you all served on TLC as?
Yeah, I got involved with TLC going into my sophomore year of high school, and TLC really opened me up to a lot of different opportunities for the state level and more opportunities than 4-H. So I first applied during COVID, so it was kind of a unique year. My first year of TLC was completely virtual, but I served on the communications committee, and even though it was virtual, we still got to have a lot of fun. We did like monthly newsletters for the council, and that was really cool because I got to learn about 4-H programs in other counties. And it really exposed me to the fact that other people around the state and even around the country were doing some of the same things I did, and that I didn't have to like be secluded to what people were doing in my county, and that there were other people that I could network with and build relationships with. So then I loved that experience that when it was virtual. So I decided to apply for the officer team. I had no expectations of what that was going to look like since I'd really never met these people in person, and I still wasn't entirely sure what the role of the board was to be, or the council. So I applied and I served as the vice president of leadership. Serving as the vice president of leadership allowed me to plan the programming for each meeting of the council. And that was really fun because essentially I got to kind of decide and create what the skills that were going to be taught at each meeting were going to be. And they were skills that I was still learning myself. So I kind of was, attending different sessions and workshops, and building off of that to decide what should be done at like the council level. Some of my favorite things that I made was this interviewing board game to teach interviewing skills, which was a lot of fun. Um, and then I really enjoyed that experience. So then I applied to serve as the president the next year. That let me make the agendas for each of the meetings. I kind of presided over each of the meeting, and just worked with the rest of the officer team to make sure that the goals of the council were being fulfilled and that everyone was, building those relationships and, serving as the sounding board for Ohio 4-H. And even though I'm not in the state of Ohio anymore, I still love Ohio 4-H. So I am serving as a junior advisor currently. And the things I've done with that were help plan the luncheon for this last Ohio 4-H conference.
Fantastic. It's interesting to see, like you said, the trajectory that TLC has been on in the past couple years, going virtual, and then now seeing its progression throughout the last couple years, with the things that the committees are doing, and the members that are coming through it. It's such a fun opportunity, such a fun thing to be a part of, and I absolutely love TLC just as much, as you've talked about. So also with some of your other experiences, what's some of those national experiences you got to partake in?
So my favorite national experience that I've done is the National 4-H Conference. So my first year of TLC, I was on the virtual delegation for 4-H Conference, and I absolutely loved it. It really allowed me to build my passions and things that I'm interested in, like researching and advocating for. And with the National 4-H Conference, you serve on a roundtable committee. So my roundtable was bridging the rural career gap, and you met with people from across the country. Most of the people in my roundtable were also from rural areas, and we really got to sit down and talk about the things that were affecting our community and how these troubles that our communities are facing are affecting employment. And a lot of us shared concerns about not being able to stay in our rural areas because of a lack of opportunities and things like that. So we got together, we talked about different solutions for that, talking about bridging the broadband gap, bringing more employment trainings and making things more walkable or providing public transportation to rural communities. And then we got to present that to members of the USDA, which was incredible to be building those connections, even as young as like my freshman and sophomore year of high school. And that was a great experience. So when the opportunity came that I could apply to attend the conference in person, I was really excited. So I applied, and then I got to go in person this previous April, and I served on the Making History Education More Inclusive, which was really fun. We got to present to members of the Smithsonian, and it was a really timely discussion. We talked a lot about what it meant for us to have memorials and monuments and kind of what having those in museums meant. People of our generation who are seeing these social justice movements and how we felt about them, how they affected us. And also, we talked about what we would have loved to learn in our history classes and how different, community and public entities can help bridge that gap and help make, history not just only be told from the winner's perspective, but also of the people who are greatly affected by these events in our history. So those taught me a lot. I was blessed to work with some incredible roundtables and, make those connections. Presenting to these national organizations was really important for me. And I also was able to attend the National 4-H Congress. I won the Creative Arts Achievement Award. I did scrapbooking for my entire 4-H career, so that was really exciting. And I got to attend the National 4-H Congress in Atlanta with some great people. And you weren't serving on roundtables or anything like that, but I think this conference really just helped you connect with people from across the nation, learn about their different 4-H programs. And, it was just, that conference was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of networking. It was a lot of team building and some really great motivational speakers. And one of my favorite like 4-H experiences kind of at the culmination of my career was this previous summer. I attended a trip in DC called True Leaders in Equity. And this was about bringing diversity more into the 4-H realm. So right now we're kind of working on different curriculums to make 4-H more inclusive for people who are low income and just making 4-H a place for everyone as it should be, and talking to community members to see how that can become possible.
Absolutely. It's so amazing. And I've got to experience this a little bit with like a lot of these national trips that you get to take. You get to see how the issues that you're speaking on also affect people in other communities. When I went to CWF this past summer, we also talked a lot about diversity programming and things like that, a lot about what you guys did at True Leaders in Equity. And it was really interesting to get other people's takes on that from other states. And a lot of it was very, very positive. They were very excited to see programming like that coming into play. And the work that you all are doing on that team is just so amazing. And it's so great to see within our own program right now.
Yeah, I'm really glad you mentioned CWF. It was a program that I attended a few years back, before I did National 4-H Conference. And the thing that 4-H really teaches you is just how welcoming other people in the 4-H community are to bringing in inclusive ideas. Because oftentimes you're having these hard, political or social justice movement conversations, and people are just so quick to shut somebody down. And 4-Hers are really great at inviting the uncomfortableness and just really having those tough conversations. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So going into, what we're here for today, what was the moment like when you found out that you were going to be the next teen of the year?
Yeah, it was really exciting. I mean, I was driving home from, well, I wasn't necessarily driving home, but I was home for I was home for Christmas break over college. And, I just had, really exciting first year of college, being with people who, had no idea what the 4-H program was. I go to really small liberal arts school and things like that. So it was kind of interesting to learn about how much the agricultural industry affected me in the 4-H programs that I was in, and just the community that I came from while I was at college, and being home and like being back in my 4-H community, and then opening up the email to learn that I won Teen of the Year was just so exciting, especially because in that moment I had been doing a lot of reflecting on what exactly 4-H had given me. As I've been applying for different things for schooling and things like that. And it really just allowed me to reflect on everything that I had completed in my final year of 4-H and how I'm using those skills in my life now, even if it's not necessarily something that's even on my resume anymore. But the skills those are still with me. And I think winning Teen of the Year really allowed me to just be grateful for all the things that I've learned in 4-H.
Absolutely. I've done a lot of that same stuff, like you said, reflecting on like the last year. And it's not an easy thing to do at all. You're thinking about all these experiences that you've taken part in and how they've changed you into who you are today and brought you to, like you with Teen of the Year. So it's a very amazing thing what 4-H can do for us and shape us into who we are today. So, you got to go to conference and accept the award. What was that like, being surrounded by, people who were, there by your side the whole time?
Yeah. It was really exciting to come home for the weekend. And it was nice to be back with people from Ohio 4-H. Because it's, not something I'm serving as a junior advisor, but it's not a community that I still get to interact with as much. So that was really nice meeting or getting just to see the people who have really helped guide me through my 4-H career, and people who encourage me to apply and try out for these different things. Like people from my own county were there that, served on TLC before, and, their experiences and what they learned from it and encouraging me to apply for these things is the whole reason I'm here today. And the whole reason that I was able to win Teen of the Year, just have some of these amazing opportunities. And that was really nice to be with those people who got me started on my 4-H career, and, see them again and just reflect with them on what this means to me. And, it was also a situation where I was able to apply some of the skills that I've learned in 4-H. There's different like state leaders that were present at the conference, and like getting to talk to like Emily Smith from Intel was really incredible, and getting to, see some of the people that I've worked with on 4-H, and then also getting to like, see who sponsors 4-H and the people that are really trying to make this program continue to grow.
Absolutely. Now, my last question for you is, what advice do you have for members?
Yeah, this is a really hard question because there's so much advice that you could give and it's really hard to put it into one sentence. But I think really the only thing that you can say is take advantage of every opportunity. You hear this a lot, but when what it truly means to push yourself out of your comfort zone. Because serving on things like being a camp counselor was something that I wasn't necessarily sure if I wanted to do. That can be like it's a hard situation. You're without your phone, you're like helping lead all these other kids. And that was something I did later in my 4-H career because I wanted the opportunity. And I'm so grateful I did because now when I'm sitting in interviews and writing my resume, one of the questions that they always ask is, well, how do you handle difficult situations and how do you grasp with like problem solution? And then when you say that you're a camp counselor and that 4-H gave you that opportunity, they immediately know that you're someone who can think creatively on their feet and can work to solve problems. Because you're in that situation for a week and leading these kids, and being a camp counselor is hard. But that's something that I wouldn't have done if I wouldn't have pushed myself out of my comfort zone to take that opportunity. And additionally, that also means to network, to build those relationships. Networking is a weird term, but like in the 4-H world, it essentially just means making friends and, building those relationships with the people that you're serving all these boards with. Because yes, the skills that you learn are going to take you far in life, but what's going to take you even farther is being able to call on those people, when you're in college, when you're out of college, because they're doing really cool things too. And it's nice to be able to have those connections and have someone that is going to be there for you because you had these experiences together and you did 4-H together.
Absolutely. I love that throughout all these experiences, it really brings us together. And I like that you mentioned to go for every opportunity because, we may not get every opportunity that we try for, but, it's worth trying because that's also going to give us the skills that we need to go forward and go out for other things. So I completely agree with you on that. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much for this interview today. It was really great talking with you about your experiences and what brought you to being Teen of the Year. So stay tuned for more episodes coming on our channel soon.